Good morning, children. Today we are going to discuss about the excretion system important concepts and important points. Okay, so these all are very useful and very important concepts in the excretory system. Okay, children, observe very carefully. The excretion is the one of the important life process. Why? Because after metabolism, metabolic reaction, so many waste materials will be formed, especially nitrogenous waste, ammonia, urea, uric acid. Those ammonia and urea and uric acid should have to eliminate. Otherwise, it will be creates big problems, especially imbalance in ions. Then that will affect the osmosis and diffusion and toxicity. It will be dangerous to the body of the animal or organism. Total system will be collapse. So that's why excretion is the one of the most important life process. Excretion is also one of the most important life process. So today we will be discuss what type of excretory materials the animals will be excrete, what are the types of excretory materials, and what way they will be excrete, or what are the organs or the special organs which are helpful for the excretion. That one we discuss. Okay, children, so first one we are going to discuss about the, you know very well, yesterday class urihalane, stenohalane, like that we discussed. What are the urihalane, stenohalane animals can tolerate only narrow fluctuations. Okay, uri animals are able to tolerate the wide fluctuations. That one we discussed in the yesterday's class. Now, the major nitrogenous waste products are. What are the major nitrogenous waste products are? The major nitrogenous waste products are ammonia, urea, uric acid. The this ammonia, urea and uric acid are the major waste products. Other waste, these are the waste products of what you call, you know very well, amino acids. So where these ammonia is we are getting through the proteins. Where the proteins means, amino acid composition. So like that. The waste products of protein metabolism are, okay, the waste products of protein metabolism are, other waste products of protein metabolism are trimethylamine oxide. What is called? Trimethylamine oxide, TMO, in marine teloist. Okay. Next one, guanine, spiders, hippuric acid, allantoin, allantoic acid, ornithuric acid, creatinine, creatine, purines, pyrimidines, pterines. These are the other waste products of the protein metabolism. So why I am telling these all are important? Why? Because in the NEET they will ask not only urea, not only uric acid, not only ammonia, they will ask different waste products of the protein metabolism waste products, they will ask in exam. So that's why you should be very thorough about this all what you call concepts. Once again I'm telling children, yesterday we discussed the what are osmoconformers, what are osmoregulators, what are urihalane, what are stenohalane, like that we discussed. And the major nitrogenous waste products are ammonia, ammoniotelic, very highly toxic, urea, ureotelic, uric acid, uricotelic. Like that, these all are there for excretion. Okay, other protein metabolism. Protein metabolism. What's the metabolism? The combination of anabolic and catabolic. Complex to simple, simple to complex. Protein metabolism are trimethylamine oxide, TMO. Recalled TMO. So they are marine teloists. Where TMO, trimethylamine oxide, will be there, excretory material in the marine teleost fishes, guanine, spiders, and also some more other protein metabolism waste products are number one, hippuric acid, allantoin, allantoic acid, ornithuric acid, creatinine, creatine, purine, pyrimidine, and pterins. Like this, other protein metabolism waste products are there. Next, come to another important point or another important concept is modes of excretion. How the animals or organisms will excrete the waste materials. The modes of excretion we will be discuss. Okay, first one, excretory system helps in collecting nitrogenous waste. What's the important function of the excretory system? Excretory system helps in collecting nitrogenous waste and expelling, okay, it into the external environment, collecting the waste and expelling it into the outer environment or external environment. Okay, now animals have evolved different strategies to get rid of the nitrogenous waste. So animals evolved means because of evolution. So different strategies animals gained to rid of these nitrogenous wastes. So what are those? Okay, ammonia produced during amino acid breakdown. When the ammonia will be formed, amino acid breakdown is toxic, highly toxic, very important bit. So very toxic. Hence must be excreted either as ammonia, urea, uric acid. Ammonia should have to be in the form of ammonia or urea and uric acid. From ammonia only urea, uric acid will be formed. So must and should, the excretion is must and should. So what will happen, you see, the type of nitrogenous end product an animal excretes depend upon the habitat of the animal. So very important. So habitat of the animal will decide the excretory material of the particular animal. Suppose aquatic, water they are living, so ammonia, and terrestrial, urea, uric acid. Like that, the habitat of the animal, what you call habitat of the animal, depend upon the habitat of the animal, excretory materials will be there. Okay, nitrogenous end product an animal excretes. Okay, depend upon the habitat of that particular animals. Animal requires, next important, animals requires especially ammonia. Ammonia excreting animals or ammonia requires large amount of water, more amount of water. So to excrete the ammonia, why? Highly toxic, very dangerous excretory materials. So send out the ammonia, more amount of water is required. What is called? More amount of water is required. At the same time, if you want to send the uric acid, okay, whereas uric acid being the least toxic. So compare with ammonia and urea, which one is the least toxic? Uric acid. Which one is a more toxic? Ammonia. So moderate, urea. So that is the reason the ammonia is the most dangerous, most toxic. To eliminate the ammonia from the body as excretory material, compulsory more amount of water is required. That's the first point. The second thing is, if you want to eliminate the uric acid or the insects, least toxic, so very less amount of water is enough to what you call excrete the uric acid, especially in insects. Come to the urea. Urea can be stored in the body for considerable period of time. So urea can store considerable period of time, so 1 or 2 days time, as it is less toxic and less soluble in water. Less toxic and less soluble in water. So that's why no problem. Okay, but more toxic is ammonia. Okay, so these are the less soluble in water than ammonia. So urea is less toxic Okay, less soluble in water than the ammonia. These points also you should have to remember. Next, animals that excrete most of its nitrogen in the form of ammonia are called. So animals excretes excrete most of its nitrogen in the form of ammonia are called ammonitals. What are called ammonitals? I told already. The animals which excretes ammonia are called ammonitals. What are called ammonitals? More dangerous, more toxic. Where we can see ammonitals, best examples, fishes, aquatic amphibians, very very important. Fishes, aquatic amphibians, aquatic insects, aquatic amphibians, aquatic insects. Both are ammonotelic. Okay. Next, another important one is aquatic amphibians, aquatic insects are the ammonotelic. In bony fishes, ammonia diffuses out across through body surface through gill surface as ammonia ions. Bony fishes, ammonia will be diffused out through the which one? Gill surface as a ammonium ion. So bony fishes, how they can excrete the ammonia in the form of ammonia ions through the gill surface. The bony fishes will send the ammonia out. Next one, another important point is reptiles. Reptiles. What are the reptiles? Snakes, lizards, crocodiles. So reptiles, birds, land snails, and insects. Once again, reptiles, birds, land snails, and insects excrete uric acid crystals. Excrete uric acid crystals with a minimum loss of water. So uric acid crystals, no need of too much of water with a minimum loss of water. That's why they will be called, when they are uric acid crystals, they are excreting, no? So their excretory material is uric acid. So when they excrete the uric acid, so that's why they will call, or they will be called uricotelis or uricotelic organisms. Uricotelis or uricotelic organisms. Next one, terrestrial animals. Terrestrial animals means, you know very well, the animals which live on the what you call land. So mammals and amphibians. Okay, mammals and terrestrial amphibians mainly excrete urea. So mainly excrete urea. Which one? Mammals. So they're not toxic, less toxic. So they will be conserve the water. No need of too much of water. Conserve, save the water. So minimum loss of water. Uricotelis. They will be called. They called uricotelis. So urea, uricotelic, urea, ureotelic, and ammonia, ammoniotelic. Terrestrial animals, what I said, less toxic urea, uric acid produced to conserve water. Mammals, what I said, urea, ureotelics. Like that, there will be names are there, ureotels, ammoniotels, uricotels, like that. Okay. The animals kingdom present a wide variety of excretory structures. Next, excretory structures. So wide variety of excretory structures are there in the animal kingdom. Every phylum have one specific structure or organ or cells to eliminate the excretory materials. What are those? Will be seen now. Number one, most invertebrates have a simple tubular structures in the form of primitive kidney. Invertebrates have tubular parts. That's it. Primitive kidney. They are called. What is called the primitive kidney? Is called protonephridia and metanephridia. Very important need bit. Primitive kidneys. Protonephridia and metanephridia. Protonephridia and what is called metanephridia. These two are the invertebrates. Okay, tubular excretory parts. But what about highly developed? Vertebrates have complex tubular organs. You know very well. Vertebrates have a complex tubular organs. They will be called, what do you call? They will be called kidneys. Vertebrates have kidneys. Okay. Next, another important protonephridia are excretory structures with specialized cells in the form of, so platyhelminths. Protonephridia is excretory structures. Okay, they will be considered as in the platyhelminthes, the protonephridia. What you call considered as which one? The flame cells. What you call flame cells? Protonephridia are excretory structures with specialized cells. So, protonephridia with the specialized cells called flame cells. The excretory materials in the organs of the platy are excretory parts of the platyhelminths. Protonephridia with specialized cells called what you call flame cells. That is important. So platyhelminths. Next come to platyhelminths flame cells. Nematodes, solenocytes. Amphioxus is there, no? Amphioxus have special cells. They are called solenocytes. They have flagella. Solenocytes in Amphioxus. Nematodes have Rennetti cells. So Nematoda phylum is there, and those phylum have Rennetti cells. Metanephridia are the tubular excretory structures. So Rennetti cells, Metanephridia are the which one? Excretory structures. Next, the Metanephridia are the tubular excretory structures in annelids and mollusks. Nematodes have Rennetti cells, Metanephridia in the annelids and mollusks. Next, insects. This is the most important. Arthropoda. Insects have a special tube-like structures. They will be called what you call special tube-like structures, excretory structures. They will be called Malpighian tubules. What you call they will be called Malpighian tubules. This is important. Okay, a special tube-like structures, Malpighian tubules, are the excretory structures in most insects. Malpighian tubules. Okay, most important name. So next, same in insects only, crustacean group, prawns, very important. This is a neat bit. They have the separate another excretory parts. They are called antennal glands or green glands. What do you call? Antennal glands or green glands. Very important neat bit. The prawns, the crustaceans, the excretory materials are what do you call? Antennary glands or antennal glands or green glands. Next, vertebrate kidney differ from among the taxa in relation to the environmental conditions. So vertebrate kidneys differ. Okay, why the different is see. Nephron is a structural and functional unit of the kidney. Nephron is the structural and functional unit of the kidney. Reptiles have reduced glomerulus. Reptiles, Bowman's capsule, glomerulus, blood capillaries are there or not? The reptiles have reduced glomerulus or lack glomerulus and Henle's loop and hence produce a very little hypotonic urine. Where in the reptiles. Hypotonic means not concentrated, less concentrated. Whereas a mammalian kidney produce concentrated. Mammals produce the glomerulus is there or not? So that's why highly concentrated urine will be produced from mammals. So reptiles don't have the glomerulus, that's why less concentrated. Okay, then mammals have the kidneys, they produce a concentrated urine due to presence of long LPs. The loop of Henle of the nephron has evolved to form hypertonic urine. So loop of Henle mainly reason for the hypotonic urine. Aglomerular kidney of marine fishes produce little urine, that is isoosmotic. Aglomerulus, no glomerulus. So especially juvenile fishes, isoosmotic. Amphibians and freshwater fish lack Henle's loop, hence produce dilute urine. Which one? Amphibians and what is called freshwater fishes lack of Henle's loop. So Henle's loop not there means they will be produce hypoosmotic means dilute urine. Hypoosmotic urine they will be released. Like that, there will be excretion, excretory materials, excretory organs are there in the different group of animals. So insects and amphibians, reptiles, aves, mammals, kidneys. So every group, every phylum, every class, okay, but especially In the invertebrates only we will see variety of excretory organs, but in the highly developed, in the sense, kidneys are the main excretory organs.